In July of 1979, Nathan Cohen was born. He was born in the smallish town of Gloucester, Massachusetts. He grew up by the ocean, going fishing on his parents' boat and going to beaches like Long Beach. He was inspired to play the violin at a very young age. But because of no strings program at his school, he learned how to play the trumpet instead. He attended public school in Gloucester and went to Gloucester High School. He has his bachelor's in music and master's in music education, which he got at college. He has been working as the orchestra teacher at Rockport Elementary, Middle, and High School for over 5 years now. He also plays in the band What Time Is It, Mr. Fox, and is the lead violinist. He also teaches private lessons and at one time was in the Cape Ann Symphony. He was inspired to play the violin at the age of 4 because he watched it on a kids' TV program. But because he couldn't take it at his school, he took private lessons and learned how to play the violin. In 2001, he received his bachelor's in music from Macalester College, and in 2010, he received his master's in music education at Columbia University in New York City. So, Mr. Cohen, who inspired you to get into music?
Lots of people. I used to watch Sesame Street when I was little, and Itzhak Perlman would show up on Sesame Street sometimes. He's a great violinist. And I remember when I was, well, I don't remember, but I remember the stories that when I was 2, I would grab my parents and drag them in front of the TV and point at the screen and say, "Get me that." And then when I was 4, my parents got me a violin, and I've been playing since then.
Cool. And how was your family brought into your music?
How was my family brought into my music? Well, my whole family was really supportive of me playing music. I think it takes a huge amount of patience and support to have a young, scratchy violin player in the family. My mom used to help me practice by giving me little things to motivate me. She would have me write letters to family members, and we would make cassette tapes of me playing songs that I would get to send messages to my family members through.
Cool. And what other instruments besides the violin and trumpet do you play?
Violin and trumpet and viola, I would say that I play pretty well. And then I fake it at guitar and piano and cello and bass, and let's see. I'm kind of obsessed with the banjo right now.
Cool. What is your favorite instrument to play?
That depends on the day. Banjo today.
Banjo today? Okay. How was Gloucester School an important impact in your musical experience?
That's an interesting question. So Gloucester didn't have a strings program when I attended there. So I started trumpet when I was in 4th grade. Had there been a strings program, I probably would have just stuck with the violin, which I started when I was 4. But since there was a band program and no strings program, I picked up the trumpet. And I think part of why I am so passionate about teaching strings now is that that was an experience that I didn't have growing up. So when I was in middle school, high school, I was the only violin player in the school. I think maybe there were 2 others. But it was something that was very special, and so I built a lot of my identity around it because it made me different in some ways. And I have always sort of felt like orchestral music is really special because of that, and I'm trying to share that with as many people as possible. Which is also kind of ironic because it becomes less special the more people that do. I don't know, anyway.
Did you meet interesting people throughout your school career?
So many. I don't even know where to start.
Do you have any funny stories?
So many, I don't even know where to start. In high school, I met Midori, who's a famous violinist who came and played at my middle school, and she is an exquisite violinist. In college, I met Mike Seeger, who's a legendary folk musician. we performed at the Fitzgerald Theater out in Minnesota, where Garrison Keillor was the MC at the show that we played at. I met Wynton Marsalis, got to go backstage and get a little trumpet lesson with Wynton Marsalis. Met Ray Brown, who's a legendary bass player. Gil Shaham did a master class at my college. He's a extraordinary violinist. Yeah.
Cool. And what was a big role model in your life growing up? Who was your...
I think that when you have role models, there's a lot of different kinds of role models. I think that there are different role models for different aspects of your life. So I think that's too when I think about, like, if I'm trying to make a decision, I sort of hear different people in my life. I hear their voices giving me advice in my head in a healthy way, not in a I'm crazy kind of way. But I had an art teacher in high school named Judith Cooper, who was such a passionate art teacher and was so good at leading me to be creative. She was incredibly inspiring, and I remember I had dinner with her a few years after I had started teaching, and I was talking to her about her curriculum, which, you know, what we did in her class was we made pinch pots and we did some simple sculptural things. And I felt like I learned so much about life just being in her presence that I was amazed that she was able to convey that while teaching how to make pinch pots. And so I told her, I was like, I can't believe that you taught me all of these things while your primary curriculum was to teach me a pinch pot. And she sort of smiled and she leaned in and she said, you think my main objective was teaching you how to make a pinch pot? And it became clear that her teaching objective was to help her students learn how to live full and engaged lives, and that the technical aspects of what she was teaching were really secondary to that. I found that really powerful to suddenly stumble upon as a teacher.
Cool. Well, that's all the time we have for today, so thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me on your show.